it's Cat, and welcome back to Stormworks Basics Tutorial. So this is going to be a fishing net tutorial. We just got the major update, which is commercial fishing nets. And so on this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this system that I currently have on board. Right, so here we are in the editor. And so if we type in fish, we're going to get the fishing rod. We're also going to get the net anchor. That is a new part we got with the commercial fishing major update for nets. They're $15 each. It's an anchor point for fishing net. Draw a rope logic link between 4, no more, no less, net anchors in a loop to form a net. The mass is 3. You can release the catch with a boolean. You can extend with a boolean, retract with a boolean. You also have a net node, which will be used under rope connectors. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. This is the way I have them set up. If we go ahead and we look at the rope connection here, as stated in the instructions there, you need to draw a rope line from 4 of these. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, there's some cool mechanics with this. You'll see some people struggling getting bigger nets. The way you get bigger nets is pretty simple. In the editor, the bigger you make the nets in the editor, the larger they'll be out in the world. You make them teeny tiny, you make them close together, they'll be small. You put them far apart, they'll be big. And so we'll go over all that. As you can see here, I have them nice and big. They're pre-assembled. As you can see how long these rope lines are. Let's do a quick measure here from net to net. As you can see here, we are 11.5 meters from center to center. So that's 11.5 meters tall by wide. A nice square there. It actually might be a little bit different on the width. What's my width? My width is about 15 meters wide. So I have it at 11.5 tall and 15 meters wide on these. You can make it wherever you want. You have a small boat, you probably want a smaller net, bigger boat, bigger nets. All right, pretty simple there. So that is important to know that when you're in the editor, the bigger you make them in the editor, the more, the greater size the net would be. You could drag these out to be absolutely enormous if you want. I personally like a little bit more realism, and I have them set up like that. If you look at the way I did these, I have some fins on these. There are a number of ways you can do this. Again, with most engineering, there are tons and tons of ways you can do this. You'll see people using weights and floats and all sorts of different systems. This system works really well for me. It's pretty simple. And it's pretty basic. So we're going to go ahead and work on that. So we're going to build this system from start to finish, and this will be in the workshop. So if you just want to grab it and use it, that's great. I just ask if you do release your build to the workshop and you do use something I've made, just please credit me in the credits. I appreciate that, and put a link. So let's go ahead and we'll get started here. So the first thing we want to do is I'm going to use a large winch. There's 3 winches you can use for this. You can use the medium, the large, and the huge. The small winch can't, because you need to be able to send a composite signal through the winch. You can't do that on the small winch, only on the medium, large, and huge. And so if we look here, this is 150 meters of rope. So that's how far we can send out that winch assembly. So that's going to be our first part. Next thing I want to do is, it's good practice to get your control system set up first before you go into the microcontrollers, so you're not having to redo it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do 2 panels here. All right, so we need to control both the net assembly and this winch, which will send it out. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to work on the first panel. So this is going to be winch in, all right? That's for this main winch here. That's going to be an arrow button up. And because we have to go for a full 150 meters, we're going to make that a toggle so you don't have to stand here and watch it. That's going to be number 1. All right, this is going to be winch out. That's going to be an arrow button. That's going to go down. That's going to be a toggle as well. That's going to be 2. All right, good. Next thing I'm going to do here is I want to know the length of my winch. This is going to be cable length. All right, good. That's going to be a dial 0. This winch here has 150 meter total cable length. That's going to be 150. That's going to be 3. Next one here is going to be release catch. If you look on the net anchor, you have a release catch. That's what this button's going to do. We're going to do a button. Now, you can do this a number of ways. You can do it as a push. You can do it as a toggle. You can make it so that you have to hold it for a little while so you don't accidentally drop some fish out of your net. Every, I don't know, every second or so when you're pushing and holding this, it will drop 1 fish. It's not like you press this and every single fish in the net is released. It goes 1 by 1 by 1. So if you accidentally press this button, it's not the end of the world. It's going to release 1 fish. So that allows you to push the button. 1 fish will fall out of the net when you release it at a time. So if you accidentally drop the whole nets, you can't accidentally drop the whole net's worth of fish, spill them all in the deck of your ship. You can't just press 1 button and accidentally lose all the fish in your net. You'll lose 1 at a time. So if you accidentally press the button, you might lose 1 or 2 fish. It's not a huge deal, so don't be worried about that. All right, so that's going to be 4. And we're going to make that a push. You could do toggle, but again, I think for safety reason, I rather, personally, when I'm trying to dump the fish into the hoppers, I would rather hold the button, and if a fish falls onto the deck of the ship, I can let go of the button, it will stop dropping fish, and then go pick it up and put it back in the hopper. All right, next thing we need to do is we need to let the nets in and out. So there's going to be nets in. All right, that's going to be an arrow button as well. Up, also toggle. Those can go out for quite a while as well. So this will be 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. All right, nets out. This is also going to be an arrow button. This is going to be down. That will also be a toggle. This will be 6. All right, and for now, you can make these other ones whatever you want, but for now, I'm just going to go nones on these because we don't need them. All right, we're going to go in and we're going to daisy chain this. So we want to go to composite, and we're going to drag the out signal from this back panel to the front one. So that's going to send the info from here to there, and then we're going to send it a couple places. One, we need to send it to the actual each of the torpedoes for the net. All right, so that's going to go directly in here. That's going to then send it through the cable to a cable anchor that's going to run the different components. We also need a microcontroller. This microcontroller is going to allow us to control the winch. So I'm just going to grab a blank microcontroller. I have one called blank. I just made it, called it blank. We're going to grab onto that. All right, and this will be the winch controller. Real simple. We need composite from the panel. We need up and down. That's it. So real simple here. We have, and then actually we'll do one more, and that's going to be the length of the cable. So let's go ahead and we have composite input. This is going to be winch panel. All right, we're going to do another composite. That's going to be an output winch panel. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do winch in, and this is going to be winch out. All right, and these two are going to be outputs. All right, perfect. So this is all we need to control this. So real simple. So we're going to do winch in and out. We're going to do winch panel out, and I'm going to go ahead and do this. So if we remember back to the way the panel was set up, real simple, that's going to be 1 and 2. So 1 is in, 2 is out. Real simple. Grab booleans here. So that's 1. And this here is going to be 2. All right, good. 1 and 2. Really simple. Goes like that. All right, good. Next thing I'm going to do here is I actually need to add one more node if I want to read the length. So we'll add that. That's going to be a number input. That's going to be winch length. All right, good. That comes in right here. Bingo. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we want to write the number. That's going to be 3. So we're going to be on channel 3 for that. That's going to be the winch length in meters. That will go back out to the panel. All right, really simple there. All right, update this. And next, we're going to take from the panel there, it's going to go in, and it's also going to come back out, and it's going to go there. So it's going to daisy chain and loop through, and it's also going to send it to the winch, which will control our actual net components. Winch in is going to be up. Winch out is going to be down. And then the winch length is going to go right there to length. Really simple. All right, so I'm just going to put a block here, and we will go ahead. I'm just going to cut that, and now we can start assembling the actual net components. All right, so to start the net components here, I'm just going to quickly, again, remember what I was saying is the further apart you put these, the bigger your net. So we're just going to make it small now. You can just grab them later and extend them. So we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to delete all these, and then I want to make these independent. So I'm just going to go ahead and we'll cut them. So we'll cut this one. And we'll cut this one, and we'll make sure it's pasted again. And we'll grab these two. I will copy these, and we'll go up. And now, as you can see, they're all different colors, so they're going to be independent parts. So this is the main part. It's going to be on your ship. These are all independent parts. Now, next thing I want to do is grab a cable anchor. So we need a cable anchor because we need to be able to send composite information and electricity through this anchor point. From the winch through the anchor point to the actual net components. All right, so now we have 4 of those. We can go ahead and just delete those little helper blocks. All right, good. So those are gone. Next, we can start setting this up. Now, again, I said how it would be nice if the devs had made it where the net anchors were just composite. But again, I think they're trying to make it more approachable for new players. Whether it is or not is, I think, up for debate. But this is the way we have it. So we're going to build it the way we have it. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to grab a blank microcontroller. I'm going to make one first. And then we can duplicate. All right, so really simple here. We'll just make the one. I'll disable that. This only needs to be about 5 long to be able to do everything we need it to do. It really doesn't make it that huge. Again, would it be nice if the parts were smaller? Yes, but it's not too bad. All right, so this is the Net Torpedo micro, real simple. This will be 5 long. All right, so first thing we do is we're going to add a composite node. That's going to take all the information from our panels. It's going to convert it into booleans, and it's then going to send it out to the net anchor. All right, so this is from cable anchor. All right, good. Next thing we need to do here is, next one we're going to do here is it's going to be retract. All right, this is on the net anchor. This is what actually causes the net to come in. So we're retracting the net. Net retract. All right, this is going to be net extend. That's also going to be an output. Next one is going to be release catch. All right, that's the final boolean on the net anchor. Next one I'm going to do here is this one's going to be fins. We're going to use fins. Some people have been using weights. There's nothing wrong with that. People can use whatever they want. Whatever works, works. You know, nothing's right or wrong as long as it works. I like to use fins. The reason, they're very light. They're going to cause fewer problems with, for example, if you're trying to pick up a big heavy net system, it might cause your boat to list. People may want to put this on a small boat. This tends to be pretty light, so that's why I like to use the fins. And we're actually using the hydrodynamic forces to stretch the net, not just using weight and mass. All right, so real simple there. We have cable anchor bringing the information in, net retract to tell the net retract, net extend to tell the net to extend, release catch to tell us to release the fish, and then fins. I'll put fins just to accentuate that. All right, good. I'm going to go ahead and organize here. All right, good. So if we remember where our buttons are, if we need to go back and look at the panel, we can, but, you know, I've got it memorized. So here we go. We have the cable anchor, and we're going to want to read some booleans. We need net retract, extend, and release catch. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to read on off. All right, so the first one here is going to be 4. Okay, 4 is release catch. All right, so if we remember that on the actual panel, that is release catch. All right, then we have 5 and 6. 5 and 6. 5 is going to be nets in. All right, so nets retract. And then we have net extend right there. Net extend is going to be 6. All right, now the fins. We're not going to feed each independent torpedo a different fin signal. What we're going to do is we're going to orient the fins correctly ourselves, and then the fins are just going to receive however much deflection we want them to have. So this is going to be fin deflection. All right, fin deflection. I'm going to go a full 1. So that's going to go 100% fin deflection in the positive direction. And I'm going to plug that in. Property number allows you to, here, we'll update it and I can show you. Property number right here, fin deflection. So you don't have to go in the microcontroller to be able to change your fin deflection right there. All right, good. So this is all set here. Let's go ahead and cut this. And this should be ready for all 4. Now, they're using the same numbers. That makes it really simple. It makes it really simple to duplicate. So we're going to go ahead, paste that one, paste that one, paste, and paste. All right, good. Next thing we're going to do here is we're going to grab some net anchors. These are actually the things that do all the work for us for our nets. All right, so we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. Really simple here, and we're going to merge all this up. So that will merge, that will merge, that will merge, and that will merge there. So here are 4 independent net torpedoes, which will cause the net to splay out and keep it from tangling up and keep it completely billowed out. All right, next thing we need to do is we need to put some fins on here. This is going to cause the different components to go out. So what we want to happen is we want this to splay out. And so we want the top left one, we want it to go up and to the left. We want this one to go up and to the right. So we want the top right one to go up and to the right, the bottom right, bottom and right, and the bottom left to go down and to the left. So we want them to go in opposite directions towards the corners. That's going to help stretch and pull the net out. So it's going to keep it from getting tangled. It's going to keep it from folding. All right, so real simple here. We can put symmetry back on. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at this fin. Again, my background's in aeronautical science. You know, aerodynamics and hydrodynamics are pretty similar in this. So it works just like the rudder on a ship. It works just like a rudder on an airplane. That's what we're doing here. So if we look at this here, what we want to do here is we want the top left one and the to go left, and we want the top right one to go right. And so what we want to do here is we want to increase the angle of attack toward the direction we want to go. So in this case, what we want to do is we want the solid side on the interior. That's going to cause the fin the back of the fin to go down, the front of the fin to go up. That's going to increase the angle of attack, increasing the lift and causing it to go, in this case, both of them to go out, away from the center point. So we want 2 hollows on the outside. Same thing on the bottom, 2 hollows on the outside. We're then going to just flip it over. And we want to do 2 hollows on the outside and 2 hollows on the outside. That's going to give us all 4 fins are working in the yaw regime. All right, next thing, the top 2, we want them to go up. All right, so if we look at this, we want the solid arrow going down. That's going to increase the angle of attack of the fin, causing lift, so these will go up. All right, so solid down on the top. And we're going to do both sides. As you can see, all solid downs on the top. Now the bottom, we want to go the opposite. We want it to go down, causing it to pull it down. So we want to go ahead and we're going to change this so that the solid arrow is on the top. That's going to cause the angle of attack to decrease and cause it to pull them down toward the bottom. All right, so solids on the top down there. So there we go. We have all 4. Now, again, because we oriented these correctly in the editor, we do not need to send them a special signal per fin. If we did it that way, we'd have to have 4 of these number nodes on each of these. It would get very large. Instead, we oriented them correctly. They all get this number, a 1, and they all go to their max deflection. Again, you want less deflection, you can put in less deflection. You can, with just using that property text. So we're going to plug in these 4 fins. Really simple. Let's plug everything in. So here's release, catch, release, catch. Release, catch, release, catch. Release, catch. I'm sorry. Extend, extend, retract, retract. Real simple there. And we'll just plug all these in. I've got them in order here to make them really easy to plug in. All right, so this, again, will be on the workshop. You guys can use this if you want. Just I ask if you do release your build to the workshop, just credit me as, you know, have designing the systems that I may have designed. Go to composite. You want to grab this node here, and you want to plug it in there. So this is going to send through the cable, and then it's going to feed these into the microcontrollers to convert that composite into Boolean, and that's going to then send it out to the net anchors. All right, good. That system set up. Now, what we need is we need some sort of winching system to then be able to send all of these out. So we're going to make that next, all right? So really simply here, I'm just going to grab, look at the winches again. Now, again, we cannot use the small one. It does not have a composite signal. We cannot send composite through. We need to send composite through. So I'm just going to grab a medium winch here. All right. And I'm just going to go ahead and we'll just take off symmetry. I'm going to manually place it here with the select tool. So you want to make sure that the winch area is pointing toward the anchors here. And so, again, these will extend. So I'm just going to make these as tight as possible. So we're going to go to the center. We're going to leave a 1 gap. And we'll go like this. We'll paste. Paste. All right, we'll flip. Make sure that that's facing this direction. Paste. And paste. All right, good. So we have the 4 here. These are going to let out the 4 of these torpedoes. All right, so in the center, I'm just going to put a couple blocks there. Let's put symmetry back on. All right, I want a cable anchor. So we're going to grab this cable anchor here. Now, this is going to go from this winch assembly up to this winch. And so this winch is going to send the information from the panels through to there. And then what we need to do is let's first merge this up so these are all one body. All right, that's one body. All right, so now we need to go to composite. We need to take the signal again, which will be coming from this panel through this winch into this cable anchor. And we're going to put it through the 4 winches here. Those 4 winches there will then send through this cable. So we'll go to rope. And we'll attach the cables that are going to be running this whole system. So as you can see, they go in just like this. All right, so that's attached, all 4 of them there. Very nice. All right, so that's going to allow the flow of information. Let's follow that flow of information again. It's going from the panel directly to this winch through the cable, right, through this cable here. So we need to attach it. That goes through this cable. That then goes from this rope anchor, from that cable anchor. As you can see, the composite is split into all 4 winches. Then we go with cables from all 4 winches to the cable anchors. Then we go from those cable anchors into the microcontrollers, which then converts it from composite into Boolean and out to the rope anchors, out to the net anchors here. So that system is pretty much all set up there. Next, let's set up the electricity again. we need the cable so that we can send electricity through. So we'll electrify those right up to the winch here. The cable anchor will, the electricity will go through the cable, and then we can hook up the 4 of these winches there. It will then go through the cables, and then these here will attach to the 4 fins. So we got to hook up all these fins to make sure those run from the cable anchor. So it's like electrical umbilical going from the ship down, and that will control all of these fins there. So perfect. That's going to power our system. It's also going to send all the logic through our system. Now, one thing I like to add is there's a thing in aerodynamics and in hydrodynamics where you have a symmetrical airfoil, which is what this is. It's just as thick on the top as it is on the bottom. That's going to give you stability, right? And so we don't need to send a signal. Now, we could put a tilt sensor on this. That would help keep this from tangling up or twisting. Again, this is the basic series. I'm not going to go into huge detail on how to do that. We'll keep this pretty simple. It every once in a while, the system will get tangled. I've used it for quite a few hours now, and I very, very rarely get a tangle. And if you get a tangle, all you have to do is pull the nets back in. It will untangle, and then let it back out, and it will be untangled. So I think that's a little bit simpler and a little bit better for most people. So we're just going to add 4 of those. What these fins are going to do is when it hits the water, because it has fins, they're going to be less likely to spin. As it tries to torque or spin, the fins are going to fight that. They're going to try to maintain their position. They have static stability. And so that static stability is going to keep them from trying to rotate. So I add those on there so that this has less of an opportunity or a desire to spin on us and cause tangling. All right, really cool there. So the next thing we do need is we do need a microcontroller to run this center section here. So I'm just going to add a couple blocks to hide it. We'll actually just delete those. And we're going to put a microcontroller on here. Now, that's to control these winches here. All right, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to type in blank for blank microcontroller. We need a microcontroller on this winch assembly here in order to control it. So let's go ahead and we'll click on this. This is going to be the winch micro. Composites going in there, and then we have in and out. Real simple. Composite input, cable, anchor. There's going to be an output, winch in. All right, that's going to be another one here, and this is going to be on-off output, and this one's going to be winch out. Right, and also an output. All right, so winch out, winch in, and then the cable anchor. Again, we'll remember what we're doing, what we did on the panels. So I'm going to use the same commands that we use for extend and retract so that when we extend the nets, it also extends the winches. When we retract the nets, it also retracts the winches. As the net tries to expand, we want those winches to go out, or it's just going to make a big belly in the net, and the net's never going to get big. All right, so if we look at this, it's going to be 5 and 6, right? 5 is in, 6 is out. So grab on-offs here. This is going to be 5. All right, we'll copy that. This one will be 6. So 5 is in. So that's winch in. 6 is out. Really simple there. All right, that's all we need there. We're going to update that. All right, we'll move it so that it is kind of tucked away in the middle there. Really simple and kind of clean. All right, next we're going to go ahead and we want to grab the composite node. So we're going to go from the cable anchor. Again, it's sending the information from the panel out through the large winch, through the cable, into here. Then we send it into the box here where it converts it from composite into the Boolean here. Winch out is going to be down, 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 down. All right, and then we have winch in, which would be up, 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 and up. All right, good. So that is all set up. So this should work fine. We're going to go ahead and we'll plug it in, and we should be able to add this to our boat and have it work. So let's go ahead, and I will meet you guys on the boat. All right, so here we are with the editor. I've got these all set up on my boat. So I put the winches to the very top. We've got the control panels down here. They're all electrified. Again, depending on how big you make your rope connections here to your different net anchors in the editor is going to dictate how big the net is when you use it. And so we have a very large one on the starboard side here. We have a very small one on the port side here. So this one's going to remain smaller. This one's going to remain larger. So let's go ahead and we'll spawn the boat. We'll go take it out there in the ocean, and we'll show you how it works. So when it spawns in, as you can see, big, huge net, small net. All right, so first thing we're going to do is on this right one here, let's make sure we pull that in and just get it accumulated. Now, it's not going to hurt the maximum size of the net if you pull these in. So don't worry about having to bring them in to bring in the fish or anything else. Just bring the net in. It remembers how long you made those rope anchors in the editor. So we're just going to draw this in. I will see you guys when we get out into open water. All right, here we are. We're out in 740 feet of water, so plenty of water to test out the nets here at full capacity. So one thing to note, as you can see, with the winches here pulled all the way in, all right, that is going to keep them oriented correctly. As you can see, they're all pulled in, and so with them all tight up against the winches here, they're not going to get tangled, all right? So sometimes they're going to get tangled. If they get tangled, all you have to do is pull the net all the way in, and as you can see, they will untangle as they get pulled into the winches. So we're going to start by, I'm going to put my booms down here. Again, you can set this system up however you want. I have a beam trawler here that allows me to run 2 nets at once. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put these in the water, and I'm going to let them go down on their main winch, and I want to get these underwater. You can start extending them, but this will help to reduce the chance of them getting tangled. As you can see, the top 2 are trying to go away, and they're also trying to go up. The bottom 2 are going down. Now, these top 2 are spinning because they're above the water. So instead of letting the nets out now, we're going to let the winch out, and we're going to let this whole assembly go under the water. And we're going to do the same on this one. We'll let the winch out. All right, so once the entire assembly is underwater, we'll go ahead and we will start to let the nets out, which will allow the nets to splay out. But I like to let these get underwater before I start to let the nets out. Again, if you have an issue, pull the nets all the way in. That will reset them and keep them from getting tangled, and then extend them again. All right, so if we look there, let's go ahead and we'll just no-clip right above it. As you can see, the top 2 are doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're going up and they're going out. The bottom 2 are going down and they're going out. And as you can see, they've pulled the net completely taut. Over here, as you can see, they're pulling the net completely taut. So perfect. We're going to wait till this one gets underwater. It is yet to get underwater. This one here, we will go ahead and we'll start extending that. And I'll show you guys a little trick so you can watch them extend. So we're going to go ahead, we'll go nets out here. I'm going to go up in the bridge, and I'm going to hold on to a steering wheel. So you just have to hold on to a helm or steering wheel. Go ahead, then go in no-clip mode. If you go right into the surface of the water, as you can see, you don't get that blue anymore. Right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to let this net all the way out here, and we'll let it extend. All right, we're going to go ahead and we'll just start extending the port net as well. That's going to be our small boy. Right, we'll go back up in the helm and we'll watch that one extend. So again, your maximum net size can be dictated by how far apart those rope anchors are. So let's go back in and we'll take a look. All right, so just have some patience, give it some time, wait for this to, let those nets expand. If you're having this issue where it gets tangled up, it happens every once in a while. Again, I recommend a square net. Here we go. It's starting to billow out on the top. Just give it some time, have some patience. If it does get tangled, again, what I said, bring the nets in, that will reset it, and then let it go out again. But as you can see, bingo, have some patience. Please, people, have patience. Again, as you can see, it looks like it was all tangled up. Have some patience, please. It will let itself out. All right, so as the devs stated in the release, they said the nets will billow out. They will. Just give it a little bit of time. As you can see, we're catching quite a few fish already. This here is a big old Mondo net. This one's a tiny little net. So again, you can set the size of your net by how big the rope distances are in the editor. All right, so pretty simple here. These will be in the workshop. I'm going to include probably just one size. Again, if you want to increase the size, all you have to do is move the torpedoes up and away. I recommend square nets. I've done quite a few bit of testing here. The rectangular ones can sometimes tangle because one of their dimensions is shorter than the other, so they sometimes like to fold. You can even see this one folding a little bit. If you wanted this to be more perfectly splayed out like this, make it a perfect square. This one's a little bit shorter in one of the dimensions. It will fold a little bit. If you want it to be perfectly flat, you can do that. I kind of like the curve a little bit. It makes it look more like a real net to me. This one finally went underwater, as you can see. But as you can see there, we have 2 different size nets based on how big we made them in the editor. So I hope you guys find this helpful. Again, if you do use the you know, if you build your own thing, you don't have to credit me, but if you do use the actual download that I put on the workbench, I just ask that if you release it to the workbench, you just credit that you use Captain Cockerel's net system. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you're enjoying the fishing update, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.